Once upon a time in the quaint town of Clumsyville, there lived a man named Bob. Bob was a charming fellow, but he had an uncanny knack for turning every adventure into a misadventure. People in town often said that if there was a banana peel to slip on or a wrong turn to take, Bob would find it. One sunny morning, Bob decided to embark on what he called his epic quest, to find the legendary Lost Sock Mountain. He believed that somewhere in the remote wilderness, there was a mountain made entirely of mismatched socks. It was a pursuit only someone as delightfully off-kilter as Bob could conceive. Armed with a map, upside down, naturally, and a backpack full of sandwiches, without the crusts, of course, Bob set off on his adventure. He took his trusty, rusty bicycle, which wobbled more than it rolled, and began pedaling with all the grace of a drunk flamingo on roller skates. Within minutes, Bob found himself tangled in a thicket of bushes, his bike hanging from a tree branch like a bizarre piece of modern art. Undeterred, he decided to continue on foot. As Bob meandered through the forest, he encountered all sorts of creatures, some friendly, others not so much. He tried to strike up a conversation with a squirrel, who promptly threw an acorn at his head. Bob took this as a sign of a budding friendship and continued his journey. After hours of wandering, Bob finally stumbled upon a peculiar sight, a clearing filled with single socks hanging from trees. It was the infamous Lost Sock Forest. Bob couldn't contain his excitement and did a joyful, yet uncoordinated, jig. His celebratory dance caught the attention of the local sock gnome community, who invited him to their grand sock party. Bob gladly accepted, and the night was filled with wild sock fashion shows and dance-offs. Bob, in his mismatched socks, was the life of the party. As the sun rose on a new day, Bob bid farewell to his newfound sock gnome friends. With a heart full of mismatched sock memories and a backpack full of more sandwiches, he headed back to Clumsyville. Back in town, Bob regaled everyone with the tale of his adventure, and they laughed until their sides hurt. Despite his clumsiness, Bob had a knack for turning the ordinary into the extraordinary, and that's what made him truly special. And so, in the charming town of Clumsyville, the legend of Bob the Bumbling Explorer grew, reminding everyone that sometimes, the most memorable adventures are the ones filled with mishaps and laughter. Alright, folks, it's time to get off your comfy couches and embrace the wild and wacky world out there. Don't let your socks match too perfectly, it's time to be more like Bob the Bumbling Explorer. Socks glow.